Mr. Karzai, do you think that the British and other NATO armies are trying to get out too quickly? You said it will take at least 5 years before your security forces are ready.
5 years in stages. We will be trying our very best to be ready to defend a greater part of our country from 2 to 3 years. And when we reach the 5-year end line, that's where we will be leading most of the operation. There still will be the need for international forces. There still will be the need for financial support of Afghanistan. There still will be a lot more to accomplish on our own and with the international community. So this is for us to take leadership of the security operations as we reach 5 years from today.
Mr. Brown, the polls overwhelmingly show that a huge majority of British people want the troops to be pulled out soon. And when we're expecting more bloody months where there's going to be more casualties, what are you going to say to the British public? And you're going to be in an election year.
We have lost 100 or more people in the last year. We've lost these people because of the tactics that are being used by the Taliban. It's using explosive devices to try and destroy the lives of British forces. So they cannot beat us face to face. They cannot beat us in open conflict.
But what will you say to the British public?
And we have got to deal with this guerrilla warfare with the new tactics that we're carrying out. What I say to the British public is that when we focus on the reasons why we've had to go in there, and we focus on our plan for making the Afghans responsible for the security over time, then people do understand that there's a reason for being there, and there's also a way forward that is based on a clear strategy and a clear plan for the future.
And another question, I'm Formula. I understand you've just finished your MSc in Kingston. You're just about to start your PhD. Your question?
My question is to President. Mr. President, what are you going to do about corruption?
Prime Minister has actually described your government as a byword for corruption.
Well, we have very good relations, ma'am. On corruption... On corruption, we have been working very hard. We simply do not publicize all that we have done for the last 3 years and what we are doing every day. Tomorrow in the London conference, I'll be announcing a plan for a renewed, invigorated anti-corruption activity through a high office of corruption with more powers to them, with more deadlines that we are imposing on ourselves in order to handle corruption more effectively. That means laws, procedures, regulations, people's contact with the government, the delivery of services, and a plethora of things.
Just because, for example, I understand that Britain's Foreign Secretary David Miliband has said he raised with you the recent reappointment of General Abdul Rashid Dostum as your Chief of Staff, and Mr. Miliband said that was an issue of concern for him. Mr. Brown, is that the kind of warlords and cronies you said in public you didn't want to see in the government?
I think it's very important that we take every action that is necessary where corruption is found. Where allegations,
are those actions being taken?
Where allegations are made, that the purpose of these new arrangements is to investigate them. Laws have got to be stronger and penalties harsher.
General Dostum was a presidential candidate in 2004 election, and he won 1 million votes. 1 million Afghans voted for him. So we must consider an environment in the reality in which we work with, not separate from it. In Afghanistan, in order to keep the country safe and move it forward to a better future, we have to work through the availability of politics there. After all, they say, what is that? Politics is the art of possible, or what?
Prime Minister, Mr. President, you're going to have to work together on these challenges, but you've had a difficult relationship. Prime Minister, you've spoken in public about, in very strong language, about the Afghan government. Mr. President, you have said that you have sometimes found Mr. Brown's comments, one time you said superficial and unfortunate and very insulting. What do you say to him now?
That was not on Prime Minister Brown's comments. That was.
But he has had strong words, strong criticism.
No.
What do you say to him now?
That was about the past year and a half, both the British and American government's general attitude towards Afghanistan that I criticized.
What do you say to
Prime Minister Gordon Brown, I have found to be an extremely distinguished person, a kind person with whom I have excellent working relations, but I'm proud to have his friendship.
You don't mind, you don't mind when he criticizes you in public?
No, he can do it right now.
Okay, Mr. Prime Minister?
I have actually a very good relationship with President Karzai, and we can talk frankly about the problems that a country faces when it's been through years of turmoil. And President Karzai is trying to rebuild this country with the help of good people who want to do that task, and we've got to support him. But if there are people who are exploiting or who are corrupt, then I want President Karzai to say that the prosecution authorities in Afghanistan will deal with these problems. And if we have issues like the Shia family law, I phone President Karzai and I say, look, I've got problems with this as well. But I think our relationship is good enough to be frank with each other about the problems that we have. I want Afghan not to have foreign troops on its soil. I want Afghanistan to be able to have its own troops protecting its soil. And that is the difference, I think, between previous occupations of Afghanistan that people talk about and the situation now. We know that the vast majority of the Afghan people want nothing to do with those people who are fighting guerrilla warfare.
Exactly. And we have more contact than you know about. Almost weekly.
Thank you very much for spending time with us. Thank you to you, all of the British and Afghan students, for joining us here at 10 Downing Street. And thank you to you, all of you who've been with us for the Downing Street debate.
These two set. Now come